far from you. Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, David. How are you doing tonight?
Really good. Team Canada, Junior Team Canada won. Dylan Guenther of Edmonton, a Canadian hockey hero. Way to go, kid. Way to go, Dylan Guenther. Fantastic first goal of the game.
Yeah.
Just a rifle shot.
Was that a shot or what?
Wow. And he could do that in the NHL and score some goals.
And he will.
And he will. And then the overtime goal, which was fantastic. Just a great play. Now, and then the Oilers came up, Bruce, and had easily one of their best games of the year, a 4-2 win of the New York Islanders, a game they had to win, especially after having a team meeting. If you lose after having a team meeting, man, what is the point of team meetings then? Mm-hmm. Maybe there is no point, but it's good to win after the team meeting, after you have a heart-to-heart with all the other players and everyone decides to play better fundamental defensive hockey. And that's exactly what the Oilers did, Bruce. According to our count, the grade A shots were 17-4 for the Oilers in this game. And the 5 alarm shots, subset of 5 alarm shots, grade A shots go in about on average 25% of the time. 5 alarm shots 33% of the time. The 5 alarm rate was 8-2 for the Oilers. The Islanders only had 2 grade A shots, and they scored on both of their grade A shots. So just dominating performance. What's your and because of that, go ahead. What was your top?
Yeah, well, I think that's going to be my first good thing, is that this was the best home game of the Oilers, answering their many critics that were complaining that they weren't doing a very good job on home ice, pointing out they'd lost 5 in a row, a number I heard a few times today on the radio and on the TV broadcast at home ice. And they came out hard, played a great first period. And then they never really let up, David. I mean, there was a couple of goals in there, but I didn't find there was any sort of stretches of action where the Oilers, gave up a goal and then sort of fell back on their heels for the next 10 minutes or anything like that. I thought they kept up their intensity level. And I thought their defensive intensity and performance in the third period was really good. And, leading 4-2, and they were, taking the chances and spending a lot of the time in the zone of the Islanders in the third period and controlling the puck down there and just not giving them much. And Oilers, in fact, outshot New York 11-7 in the third period and 38-22 on the night. Like, it was just a game where Edmonton was the better team, start to finish. And for one game at least, and that's all the sample size we're dealing here, but for one game, they turned it around on their home ice and they did show the other guys who was boss. And really, they should have won that game by a larger margin than they did. But I'm sure everyone in the room is happy with a 4-2 win.
That was indeed a good thing, Bruce. And I'll point out, like, in terms of home margin in differential in grade A shots, which is one way to measure the dominance of a performance. You can go by goals, or you can get into more of a process kind of stat like grade A shots. They're only once this year all season, in fact, only once all season have the Oilers had a bigger grade A shot differential than this game. It was 13 in this game, the grade A shot differential. Against the Anaheim Ducks, the Oilers had a grade A shot differential of 18, Bruce. 26-8 in that game, and they lost that game, Bruce. So this one, they did manage to win that game. They did manage to win this game, Bruce. I'm just going to quickly slide in a little bit of research of this. I was kind of shocked when I found this out. There's this idea that you can get goalied, it's called, or the goalie steals a game. Oh. And you need a combination of a couple things. You need one, your team has to play really well and lose because the other team's goalie was outstanding, and usually your goalie was crap. So
Sometimes.
the Oilers, they've been dominated 10 times in grade A shot differential, by differential of 4 or more than that. And not once has the Oilers goalies come up big and goalied the other team in any of those 10 games where the Oilers
Mhm.
themselves have been dominated. But this is the 14th game where the Oilers have dominated the other team in terms of grade A shot differential. And Bruce, the Oilers have lost 7 of those games. They've been goalied in 7 games. That is a major difference. That's 7 wins that this team has given away because they got
Mhm.
goalied, or the other goalie stole it, but made all the worse because their goalies have not been able to do it. So, and I was worried all game long. Honestly, this was my biggest fear watching the game, all
Mhm.
game long, that this was going to be the story again, especially when it got to be 2-1. I was thinking, oh no, it's going to happen again, and it didn't. So my good thing is the third goal, because it was when the third goal came about that I thought, okay, the script is it felt different all the way along. Campbell looked more calm in net, and the Oilers seemed more calm and more disciplined. They weren't giving up much. But it wasn't until that third goal that I started to think, okay, they really are going to pull this one out. And it was a really fantastic goal in a lot of ways, because it features some players who have been getting some heat lately, younger players on the team who haven't necessarily played up to expectations for one reason or another, often due to injury. Um, in at least 2 of the cases, I don't. Has Holloway been injured this year? Dylan Holloway been
Yes, yeah, he
injured?
got hit with a really heavy high check where he was, concussion-like symptoms, I
All
think,
right.
as far as we heard. But yeah, he got cranked.
Okay. So all 3 of these players that I'm going to mention in this sequence, there's actually 4 in the virtuous cycle that led to this goal. It starts off with Kailer Yamamoto winning the puck along the boards, and throwing it in the neutral zone, throwing it over to Philip Broberry, who rushes in, charges in. For one of the few times this year, he got on his horse, charged in, showing some confidence. And I thought he actually showed it. He's
All
starting to
game
show more
long.
confidence all game long, and this is what he's got to do if he wants to make it in the NHL big
Mm-hmm.
time, which he's fully capable of doing, given his talent stack as a player. He's got to just go for it, and he did. He rushed the puck in, they kept it in, and the Oilers started to move it around. Yamamoto made a nice play in the zone. They were passing it around. It goes to the point at one point, and he puts it over to Ryan McLeod, who makes a really nice pass, um, kind of across the ice, cross seam pass, high in the zone to Dylan Holloway, who one timers the puck into the net. He just hammers this shot. It is an excellent shot, screened heavily by both some Islanders players and Derek Ryan, the veteran out there who was involved in it. So it's interesting. Yamamoto, Broberry, McLeod,
Yeah.
Hall. Now that I think of it, all of these players have had fairly significant injury problems this year, and when we start to get carping about these players, and sometimes that's not mentioned. It's not
No.
top of mind.
No,
It's
that's
just
fair.
it's just they're not playing that well. Well, they've all been fighting through some injury problems, which are not
Mm-hmm.
insignificant. Then trying to get back up to speed, get everything going again. But that was a crucial goal, and it was great to see Holloway get it because he does have skill. We've been seeing flashes of it, and finally his NHL level skill paid off with an NHL level goal,
Oh
and
wow.
a crucial goal in a big game for this team, which is when you're a 500 team, a real 500 team, every game is a big game because you can't afford to lose. You're going to fall out of the playoff race. So, right, that's the position the Oilers in. They have they don't have any easy games, but they needed to win this one, and that goal was, I think, the key moment in this victory.
Yeah. Well, after they'd given up the 2-0 lead to 2-1. The next goal was absolutely massive, and we've seen a few times lately where the other guys got the 2-1 and the 2-2 goal, and then they just kept
Yeah,
on rolling. So to get that one, and so long time coming for Dylan Holloway. I think his first was on November 26th, and it too was a huge game-tying goal in the third period at Madison Square Garden, where he beat
remember that.
Igor Shesterkin. Well, tonight he beat Sorokin. that hotshot netminder for New York Islanders, Ilya Sorokin, with a great shot from high up. And this one, in fact, turned out to be the game-winning goal. So that'll be his first in that column in the NHL, and a big play in the flow of the game. In fact, I thought he was really good for large stretches this game. He drew a penalty, and he made a really nice pass to McLeod for a great chance late in the game. And so he's going to get a nice grade tonight, one of a lot of Oilers who will.
He almost scored right at the end of the second on that kind of weird bounce.
He nearly chipped that in. Yeah, he just couldn't quite reach it.
Yeah. What is your second good thing?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kyler Yamamoto, who I thought had a splendid game tonight. And I'll single out a few plays, but in general terms, like he was a positive factor. Wasn't around winning puck battles and getting into right into the hurly burly of hockey at 5'8", 153 pounds. He drew the penalty that led to the Oilers power play goal that opened the scoring, the Leon Draisaitl executioner shot that made it 1-0. Then he scored the 2-0 goal himself on a shorthanded rush with McDavid, where he passed to McDavid, deferred to McDavid, and McDavid just passed it right back to Yamamoto. And rather than look for another pass, he actually took the puck to the net, made a great toe drag on the D-man. I think that was Noah Dobson. Went right around him and fired a low shot that found a hole in Ilya Sorokin. And that was the goal that turned out to be the 500th assist of Connor McDavid's career. So Kyle Yamamoto's got a highlight that's going to be shown quite a few times in the years to come. Because when he gets to 600, they'll show the way they did tonight, 100, 200, 300. Now they've got another one in that highlight reel. Was this very pretty goal, nice, beautiful play, I thought, by Yamamoto. I liked his work on the penalty kill, from as simple as just winning a board battle and clearing the zone when the team had been under pressure and they needed a line change. But crucially, a really superb, inch-perfect lob pass that he made to Leon Draisaitl, where he passed it up and over the defenders, and Leon just surged onto it and went in alone and was just robbed by Sorokin on that one. But that was a gorgeous alley-oop kind of play. And it's nice when you can do it. Well, Kyler saw it, and then he executed it, and he couldn't have done it, put it in a better place. And then finally, right near the end of the game, he made what I saw as really the only obvious mistake that he made, which was an unnecessary icing that led to New York being able to pull their goalie on a face-off in Edmonton's end with 3 minutes left, still down by 2. And he responded to that. First of all, he nearly scored an empty net goal where it was a terrific defensive play by Pulak that prevented him from scoring. But then when the Islanders came back up the ice and it looked like they had a couple guys open on the left side, the cross-seam pass came over, and whose stick is it that goes into the lane and tips it up and over the glass? Kyler Yamamoto. So he kind of made up for his mistake there by killing the next New York thrust. So all in all, I thought we saw the range, or a big part of the range of Kyler Yamamoto's game tonight, not included. Battling for pucks, shooting a goal, making an absolutely fantastic pass, doing great work on the penalty kill, and showing a good defensive stick. I mean, that's a lot of things.
To belabor my earlier point, I thought we saw finally a healthy Kyler Yamamoto tonight, like increasingly healthy, feeling good about himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he takes a lot of big beating out there. I don't know about how durable he'll be like in his NHL career, given his size but we did see the Kyler Yamamoto who was able to score 20 goals last year tonight, and he's a really fine hockey player. He really digs in there, makes all kinds of great plays. And if the Oilers ever missed that hockey player, he's such a key guy when he's healthy and playing like that. So it really was excellent to see.
Hmm.
And I do note, like, yeah, early in the third period when Nuge, I thought Nuge took a bad penalty. The Oilers were up 4-2, and Nuge got cross-checked, but it
Sure
wasn't a
did.
really hard.
It hurt, is what my
It
take was. He got him under the armpit, in the
right,
ribs,
it hurt.
and Nuge just turned and hacked the guy, and the ref, of course, didn't see the
That
original
was
thing. And
can't. You're up
oh, I
two
know you
goals.
can't.
It's early in the third. You can't do that. So that bothered me, that penalty. But right near the end of it, Yamamoto made a great play where the Oilers were exhausted and he got it out.
Yes,
So you mentioned that
yes,
already, but
yes.
it was fantastic. Bruce, my second good thing is the play of Leon Draisaitl tonight.
Mm,
He had his best game in a long time. Maybe he's feeling a little healthier, I hope. We
yeah.
don't really know what was ailing him, but he really had a strong game. He had a goal and an assist. He started out the game He started out the game at even strength right early in the game. He got a hard shot on net, and then he got on the power play 5 minutes into the game. He got off his executioner shot. That one didn't go in, but the second time he was able to ramp that deadly shot up. He scored a goal. I think that's when Sorokin didn't have his stick,
Yeah.
and we're just it was another good moment in the game because the Oilers had been just pouring it on, and to that point they had 8 grade A shots already, and they hadn't
Oh,
scored. And I was thinking, they're gonna get they're gonna get goalied. Maybe just because I wrote that post about them getting goalied. I was thinking it's gonna happen
well,
again. This is the
Sorokin himself did it early in the season. He
that's
shut him
that's
out.
it. That's it. He's such a great goalie, and I just thought they're not able to beat this guy. They're not going to get rewarded, and then they were rewarded for all that hard work and a good play with Leon cracking in that goal. And on that power play, there was so many moments where they got the right bounce,
Hmm.
where the Islanders came close to just getting it. And getting it out. It must have happened between 5 and 10 times on that power play where there was loose pucks or moments where the Islanders were just so close to getting the puck out and they weren't able to do so. And I'm thinking, oh, this is unusual. The Oilers are getting some, it's in some games it just seems like the bounces are always going their way and they can't get anything going on. But this game,
Hmm.
right in that moment on that power play, they got to every puck first, and finally, Connor McDavid puts it over to Draisaitl and scores. Now, was that the one? That was the high slot one, right? I think I remarked on this too.
Yes, yeah. The pass
So
came from the high slot.
yeah, so the Oilers have, and I think this is a new wrinkle in the power play this year, which they go to a lot because I think Draisaitl's been, and I'll have to check this. I think he's been able to get off his executioner shot more often this year, and there's a reason why. It's because when they have Nuge going down the wall or McDavid going down the left wall right now, they will the other one, if it's Nuge going down the left wall, it'll be McDavid who'll creep out to the high slot and Nuge can then pass back to McDavid, and McDavid is then in position to shoot, or he's got a really good angle to set up Leon for the one timer, and that's exactly what happened there. And often it's Nuge who's in the high slot, McDavid coming down the left side and putting it over to Nuge, who again he can shoot or he can pass. It is an extremely smart offensive setup and extremely difficult with such great passers as Nugent Hopkins and McDavid to defend. Other teams really are stymied because that guy going fast down the left wall, he could easily just throw it right across, and they have to respect that, the two forwards. So when you put it back to the guy in the high slot, he's usually got time and space to make a play. And you give Nugent Hopkins and McDavid that kind of time and space in the slot area. Well, this is why this has been a historically good power play. This is one of the big reasons, one of the big differences this year. Are we on to bad things, Bruce?
Are we? Okay.
Yeah, got one?
Oh yeah, yeah. I got one. My bad thing is Sportsnet. Uh, Tonight it was really bad. They kept missing face-offs, and this was right after the game. We talked about them extensively. And I thought I really want to keep an eye on what's going on in the defensive zone. Well, time after time, it seemed like they were showing a highlight package that had something that happened earlier in the game or something that happened last month, uh, or in the distant past, and then you would hear the unmistakable clash of sticks, the puck being dropped, and the sounds of the game going on, and you'd still be looking at this old video of something else, and then they'd peel back to the game, and it'd be 3 or 4 seconds later, and the puck would be in the corner, it'd be out in the neutral zone, or you know. Sorry, guys, you're covering the game 60 minutes. I asked for 60 minutes of effort from the Oilers. I asked for 60 minutes of coverage from Sportsnet. Don't miss the first 5 seconds of so many plays. You know, it's just a little thing, but some nights it's more annoying than other nights. And tonight I was starting to get annoyed by that. And I wasn't
I
annoyed
think
by a whole lot from the Oilers, so I'm just going to single out Sportsnet. You guys are wearing the goat horns for the bad thing tonight.
I think they're just think they it's a little bit they think they're the show, like that we're
Well, they
watching a
are in some sense.
but
Yeah.
face
Show the
offs,
game.
show the game, like show the whole game. Just make that job one.
Yep.
Show the whole game and work around that. We don't
Mm-hmm.
want to see some highlight reel. We don't want to see
Well,
anything else,
we've
or
got
we don't
lots
want
of
to see
time
you
to
talking
show it.
to. We don't want to see you talking to some country western singer when the game is going on. As
Right.
much as we might like the guy's songs, we don't want that. We want to see the game, the whole game, and because we like to analyze things and pick things apart.
Now, the other little beef I got with them, and they're getting worse on this, just show there's a special name for this thing that I've forgotten. The little score clock that, the time clock in the
Yes,
corner that runs
yeah,
throughout the game. And they cover that over with this inane information about, what some team is, three for the last 28 on the power play. Well, either show that somewhere else or show the graphic while the puck isn't in play. That clock is a big, big part of what's going on. There's a lot of information in there. I mean, for this work that we do, it's essential. Quit covering that thing up. So
maybe we
I'll
feel
add
that.
that to my uh, list of. I got to whine about something, right?
Well, maybe we feel that more acutely than others because we do need to time stamp. We're looking to time stamp the grade A shots. But I do think most fans want to know how much time is left.
Yes.
And sometimes it's
Let's
for like 30, 40 seconds they're
now
showing,
let's
or
show all the
two
starting
minutes.
lineups of both teams while the game is in play. Well, show it
Yeah.
during the stoppage. I mean, this game lasted 2 hours and 25 minutes, and exactly 60 of those minutes were live hockey. So you got 85 other minutes to show your commercials and your panels and your highlight reels and your video packages. That's lots of time. Put all that stuff in there.
Yeah.
Show the
And
game.
yeah. And they do a good job. I like a lot of what they're doing. I'm not saying they're like, I'm not trying to say this is a terrible, they're doing a bad
No,
job. They're doing a good
we're
job, but
just
this is,
singling out one thing. Like we single out one defensive mistake on an
yeah.
Oiler. It might have played a pretty good game, but sometimes that defensive mistake is annoying, and sometimes it's important.
My concern is I think they're getting longer with it and they're doing it
Hmm.
more. They're showing
Yes.
fewer face-offs and they're way longer. Soon it's going to be 10 seconds into the play that we're going to see it. So stop this trend in the tracks, reverse order, and just show the whole game. Okay, my bad thing, Bruce. The Oilers are up 4-1. They have the foot on the throat
Hmm.
of the Islanders, as you mentioned to your to fellow fan Lynn Mercereau last game. The
Right.
the foot was firmly on the throat, and minute left in the period. Cody Ceci gets the puck, puts it up the boards. It's a safe play. He had a safer play, could have put it back to Tyson Barrie, but this was also a safe play. Zach Hyman was there, puts it up, and Hyman, he's concerned about getting hit, which I understand, but just stop the puck. Like, stop the puck. You don't have to get it out necessarily, but you can stop the puck. You could put it back to Ceci, or you could just freeze it against the boards, and he just lets the puck go right by him.
Yeah.
And it it was Hyman he's a hard man of hockey in a lot of ways. He plays a hard game, a physical game, but that was a bit of a soft play. It was a lack of intensity, concentration, focus, and it cost them a goal because it goes by him right to the point and
Doesn't get out. Like it was two
doesn't get
feet
out.
from the line, right?
Yeah, doesn't get out, goes to the defenseman, and the defenseman puts it at the net, and it's deflected in. And now it's 4-2, and you have a hockey game because they've scored with the chances aren't great. They're going to come back, but these are the Oilers. and Jack Campbell, all due respect, was in net, and he's had a hard time of it this year. So you just never know. They didn't need that play, and he needed to bear down and make the play. I mean, it's a
Chip it
small
into the
thing.
neutral zone. Yeah.
Yeah, in the scope of the game, every player screws up now and then. I mean, how about that Czech player in overtime who was charging up the ice on the rush and just unforced there gives it to the Canadian defenseman to send the
Oops.
puck in the other direction. These things happen in hockey, but
Yes.
um, we there's been such a chorus of them with the Edmonton Oilers this year, and I guess we're just sensitive. We're a little sensitive right now to these kind of mental intensity, intensity, mental error kind of mistakes by the Oilers, and Hyman made one on that play. So um, that's my bad thing tonight. Your number.
Yeah, my number is 21-0. This is phenomenal. This is from Natural Statrics recording of high danger scoring chances, which is roughly the analog for our 5 alarm chances, or grade A scoring chances for
For our
sure.
grade A
The,
chances,
the
yeah.
high danger chances that they record and of course they do it by scraping the data from how far the shot was, what kind of shot it was, how far, what position on the ice it was, without actually seeing and analyzing it. So we do it a little different. But in this game, this is in all situations. Oilers had 63% shot attempts, 64% of, 63% also of shots, 72% of scoring chances, 100% of high danger chances, 21-0. I don't know which number is more impressive. I'm going to go with the 0 as being extraordinary. I mean, 0 high danger chances for the other team. I mean, we had the 2 goals as high danger chances, and the Barzal goal was from a little distance out. You can see why they might not consider it high danger, but it was kind of he was open and he was a sniper, and he sniped it right in off the bar. The Clutterbuck one, I'm not quite sure how Natural Stat Trick missed it, but I'm just looking at their official count of the game. And out of it, they had expected goals of 4.7 for Edmonton and 1.3 for New York Islanders. In other words, Edmonton was full value and then some for the clear victory of 4-2. By this, they
Yeah.
should have won 5-1, which was actually the score I was hoping for.
I don't know how the Barzell goal also, because it was within home plate, how that escaped their measurement. Maybe it was marked down wrong by the score, like the person marking it on the official score, the NHL official score. I think it was definitely within home plate. I mean, I was thinking
Hmm.
this could be a 5 alarm. It was
Right.
five. I don't know. Do we have it as a 5 alarm shot? I think it was. Like he really
That,
pegged
well,
that
those were
shot.
the only 2 we had for New York.
Yeah,
Those
he
2
really.
goals.
No, we actually didn't have that one as a five
No.
alarm. No, which one?
Oh,
Other one
okay.
did we? They had a power play one that we had as a 5 alarm shot in the first period. We didn't peg the Barzal shot as 5 alarm, just as a grade A shot.
All right.
But the real mystifying one was the Clutterbuck one, because that was
Yeah.
just right close to the net that he made that tip. So
Yeah, I would have given
maybe,
that one under any system, I would have thought.
yeah, maybe there was some kind of glitch. Who knows? Uh, Not every system has its warts.
Anyway,
So
these
yeah,
numbers say dominance by the Oilers, and they sure didn't give the New York Islanders much in this game.
yeah,
And when they did get in trouble, more often than not, it was the Oilers defenders that made big defensive plays in front of their own net. Darnell Nurse, for example, I thought he made 3 great defensive stops in the last half of the third period just by cutting out dangerous passes with the stick in the slot. And he wasn't the only one. I mean, Draisaitl, how many times did he pluck a puck out of someone's skates and move it out into a good spot? Including that one he whipped up to Hyman, which when you were saying Draisaitl was a good thing, I don't think we quite got to that play.
oh geez, yeah, that great stretch pass. He
Yeah,
gets the
he
puck on
pulled
the.
it out of the guy's stick, bam, out of the guy's skates, and one look, bam, Hyman's in on a breakaway.
Yeah, I forgot that one. That was a fantastic play.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, Bruce, my number is related to the Oilers' dominance as well. It's my number is numero uno. This was the best defensive performance of the Edmonton Oilers this year. It is the lowest amount of grade A shots they have given up in a game. They gave up just the four, and the previous low, let me just go through, looks like seven in a game. The previous low for another team is seven in one game, and that was against the Islanders again. The Islanders
Hmm.
only had seven grade A shots,
They had the lead all of that game though, so it's a
and they,
whole different equation. They were
yeah,
sitting on the lead, and the Oilers were pouring it on. Whereas this game, the Oilers had to defend the lead, and they did very successfully.
they sure did. In the third period, for instance, um, we don't have the Oilers with even one, or excuse me, the Islanders didn't even have one grade A shot in the entire third period, according to our. There was one that was a little bit close on the power play, but it was from pretty far out, that one timer shot, and it was Campbell was easy. It was easily read as well.
Hmm. Yeah, he was
So
ready for that one.
yeah, he was right there. Usually the goalie has to be moving for a shot that far out to be counted as a grade A shot, and he wasn't moving. He was set. So they didn't have one grade A shot. They only had four the whole game, the lowest total of the year that the Oilers have given.
Awesome.
They should have more team meetings, obviously, Bruce. They
Hmm.
might get a little tired of them, but
Hmm.
nonetheless, it's like superstition now. They got to have a team meeting, and
Hmm.
everyone's got to really say angry things
Hmm.
about the guy next
Right.
to him. I
Right.
don't know.
They gotta bring their dirty laundry to every meeting, air it, and then put on clean laundry and go out and play the game.
Maybe what they did was give some of the young guys some real encouragement, like say, like, listen, we need you,
Yeah.
Ryan McLeod and Philip Robury and Dylan. We need
Ah.
you
Well,
to
they got
play.
them tonight.
You guys are talented hockey players. We need you to start to play with some confidence, to go for it. Don't worry about making mistakes. Go for it. Maybe that was the message. I mean, because you just never know what works. I mean, ripping on people,
Mhm.
depending on the person. I mean, they're getting ripped on all the time. These guys by us and others. It's just a chorus of ripping. So maybe there was some support. Maybe it was more like a support meeting than uh, full of accusations. We have no idea what it was like. All right.
Yeah. Maybe
Um,
they said things like, "Okay, Kyler, when I pass you the puck, it doesn't mean I want you to pass it back to me. It's because I think you're in the best position. Shoot the darn thing."
there you
You
go.
know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because the young guys and all those guys you mentioned on Brovery, I mean, I thought he was really good in this game, and it
Yeah.
was a real pleasant thing to watch. He so many puck retrievals by him, and almost all of them were, handled basically flawlessly with his speed and his long reach. He was fishing pucks off the end wall and distributing them, and there was no trouble that came out of it at all.
I like his defensive game. I
Hmm.
mean, I just like how calm he is and able to, because he's so big and he's so rangy and he's so fast and agile on his skates.
Hmm.
He can fairly easily keep up with most guys and shut them
Hmm.
down. Like they can't get around him, and it's that is something that's kind of encouraging to see in a young player. So Bruce, I think Philip Robury is right now playing better than Brett Kulak, and I'd like to see the ice time reversed at this point. Let's see. Let's give Broberry the second pairing minutes. Figure out a way to do that, and pull Kulak back a bit until he gets his game in order. And he had an okay game tonight, Kulak, but he was also one of the culprits on the first goal against. He made a couple turnovers, and then he
Two
didn't
in a row.
didn't cut out the pass either. Where
That could have been my bad thing, but we nailed Kulak a couple times lately. And we
we
haven't
we
hammered
have.
Sportsnet all year, so.
I've been picking on Kulak. But you're right. Like anyway, I think Philip Broberry has earned some more ice time
Hmm.
here, and I'd like to see that. I think he because they need to know. Again, they need to know, can they count on this guy in the playoffs, or are they going to have to come up with you know trading some dear assets for a defenseman?
Including
So
him potentially. So the
yeah,
time for
exactly.
him to make his case is now.
It
And I
sure is,
think
Bruce.
tonight, I mean, hopefully it's not just an outlier game, but tonight was a game I thought we saw a significant showing of what this guy is capable of. And
I
I think what he's capable of being is a pretty reliable defenseman.
Oscar Klefbom at this stage of his career was a bottom pairing defenseman on the Oilers trying to break in with the team, and doing an okay job of it. That's exactly what Philip Broberry is now, and I think he has the same kind of potential as a player as Klefbom. And Oscar Klefbom, before he got injured, was rounding into a number one D man on the Edmonton Oilers. He was becoming a very, very good hockey player, and then injuries ended his career. So I see the same development curve with Broberry. I think it. I just, there's talk of trading him. I just don't like to hear that kind of talk. I want at least until you're really sure what you have with the player. Because we're seeing signs. I think he's been getting steadily better from the start of the season, even battling through injury. So I just want to see how far this can go right now.
Well, he
All right.
played 12 minutes tonight, almost equal in all three periods. Like they were still using him deep into the third period.
Yeah.
And whereas Niemelainen, they went with 7 defensemen tonight, he only played 3 minutes and 6 seconds. So he only got like a small handful of shifts, and Broberry was clearly, having a better night. So basically, they shortened the D rotation to just the 6 guys.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I thought that made sense. Why wouldn't you do that? Alrighty, Bruce. Next up, Saturday, right?
Yep. The Avs.
Oh.
As we're doing this, they're trailing Vancouver 3-2 in the third period, so they might be coming in hot, as in mad. That's all right. Oilers owe the Avs one by now, and I suspect that they don't think they'll take them lightly. Let's put it that way. If they take the Avs lightly, then we really do have a problem.
Indeed.
All things considered, Stanley Cup champions, team that knocked Oilers out last year.
Yeah.
All that jazz.
Well, one of the narratives about the Oilers this year is, well, teams get up to play the Oilers, right? Well, okay. Here's where the Oilers should be getting up to play the Avs.
Mm-hmm.
This is their moment to get highly motivated for a game.
Everyone gets up for the champs. We saw that throughout the dynasty years. How many, especially road games, the Oilers went against a team that was highly motivated, and it took a good effort to beat them. And usually the Oilers were good enough to do that, but they rarely had, real soft opponents that were disinterested. Let's put it that way. So,
yeah. Alrighty, Bruce. Well, let's leave it there. Thank you for talking tonight.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime, and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.